What's up, everybody? It's Jess. I am here for Lunch with Life Youth. And yes, I'm sitting on my floor right now because my house has really weird lighting, and I want you guys to see my face. But anyway, we are in our series, Questions from a Hat. And today, the question that I'm going to attempt to answer is, do I belong at church? So if you've been around Life Youth or Life Church in general for a while, you've probably heard the phrase, you belong, at least once or twice. It's the first of our 6 church codes. It's even on the wall in pretty big letters. We as a church have decided that this is something that we think is really important. We want anyone who walks into Life Church to feel welcome and like they belong and like this is a safe place for them. But I know that we don't always feel that way. And that's not where we always find ourselves. Sometimes just the idea of church can make us feel uncomfortable and kind of scared. And there's a lot of reasons that you might be feeling the same way. And I know that when I felt that way, and when I felt like I was not gonna belong at church, it was because I'd been burned by church and by Christians in the past. And I'd also knew that there were things in my past that I was really not proud of. I had done some things that I was pretty ashamed of, and I was scared that God wouldn't want me to even be in his house because of all the things that I'd done. So how do we overcome those feelings? And how do we know that we do belong in church? To start, I think it's really important to note that you belong to God. If you read Psalms 139, which is one of my favorite Psalms, David talks about God knitting us together in our mother's womb. God made you with care and lots of hard work. He put care and thought into making you who you are. He made you in his image, and he made you the way that he wants you to be. You're part of his family, and you belong to him. But maybe, like me, when I was younger, you're feeling like the things that you've done in your past and all the ways that you've messed up are just too much. You're afraid that you've done too many bad things to even set foot and belong in a church. But the truth is, you've never messed up so badly that Jesus doesn't love you. In the book of Mark, chapter 2, Jesus is having lunch and hanging out with some people that the Pharisees, who were the religious leaders of the time, called really sinful and even called them scum. So Jesus hears them talking and says to them, healthy people don't need a doctor, sick people do. And I have come not to call those who think that they are righteous, but those who know they're sinners. Jesus came and died for you. Jesus, when he was here on this earth, spent time with people that other people thought were really jacked up and messed up people. People that the so-called righteous people didn't want to hang out with. But that's who Jesus spent the most time with. And if you're feeling broken and messed up, that's okay. Jesus would have come to hang out with you too. Another part of the Bible, in Romans chapter 8, verses 38 and 39, Paul says that absolutely nothing that we do or anything in this world can ever separate us from Jesus' love. Nothing can make him stop loving us. Jesus died to save you. No matter what you've done, good, bad, anything in between, he loves you so much. And even if you're feeling pretty broken and messed up and like you've failed in ways that there's no coming back from, you're in pretty good company. The Bible is filled with countless examples of broken, messed up people. David, who wrote most of the Psalms, cheated on his wife and even killed somebody. But God still called him a man after God's own heart. And now I don't have time to tell you all the stories of the messed up things people have done in the Bible, but crack that thing open sometime and just take a look. From Paul, who wrote most of the books of the New Testament, to countless other people, everybody messed up and was broken in some way. But that didn't stop Jesus from loving them, and that didn't stop Jesus from using them in incredible ways for his kingdom and his glory. Jesus wants you to come as you are. He wants to meet you right where you're at, whether that's in all of your brokenness or not. Nothing you've done is too big for God to forgive. I promise you that. And if you are still struggling with that and maybe have some more questions about that, you can reach out to me or any of the adults here, and we would love to talk to you more about that. I probably can't address every question just in this short video, but I just want you to know that you are so, so loved by Jesus, and that he died to save you, and that there's nothing that you can ever do that will change that. Nothing you've done is too big for him to handle. He won't be shocked. He won't be blown away. He just wants to love you, and he wants you to come to him. And maybe finally you feel like you don't belong at church because you're still really not sure about this whole God thing. You've got questions. All the stuff I've been talking about Jesus, you're still really not too sure about it. So you feel like you can't come to church because you don't have it all together and you don't have the answers right. Maybe you've been a Christian for a while, but you've got some doubts and struggles and you're questioning some things. If you haven't seen Pastor Jared's message from a few weeks ago for us in Life Youth that he gave, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and check it out. It was an amazing message talking about doubt and talking about how it's okay to have questions and it's okay to be struggling and wondering all about this whole God thing. And it's normal. If we all waited to come to church until we had it all together and had all the answers, there wouldn't be anybody here, even pastors. Everybody has doubts. Everybody's got questions. And none of us have this thing all figured out. And again, you're in pretty good company if you're doubting, because one of Jesus' own apostles, Thomas, doubted him too. And he did life and walked with Jesus every single day. But Jesus didn't condemn Thomas for his doubts, didn't tell him he was bad for having questions and doubts. Jesus helped him work through those doubts and gave him the things that he needed to overcome them. And he can do the same thing for you. So obviously I can't answer every possible reason that you might be feeling like you don't belong in church, but I hope that I covered some of the really big ones and gave you some answers. And this is just the start of the conversation. You can always ask any of us if you're unsure or have more questions. This is a safe place for questions. And just like Jesus was a safe person for Thomas to have doubts with, so am I, and so are the other leaders here. One last thing that I wanted to say, though, is that if you feel comfortable at church, you feel like this is your home, and you know that you belong here, I challenge you to make somebody else feel that way. I know when I felt like I didn't belong at church, the people at the church helped me feel like I did belong. And it's those same broken, messed up people that we all are that still made me feel like I had a place there and like I belonged. They talked to me, they invited me into their conversations, invited me into their groups. And they helped me see that I did belong at the church and that there's no such thing as too far gone for Jesus. There's no such thing as too broken, no such thing as too many questions, that anybody belongs at church. And so I hope that we can all be that person for somebody else and that we can all do our part to make sure that people know that they belong here and that they belong at church. You were made by and fiercely loved by the all-powerful creator of the universe. And he wants you to know that you belong. We're all broken. We're all messed up. We're all making mistakes, and we're all going to continue to make mistakes. But nothing's going to change the fact that Jesus loves us and that we belong here in church. And I hope that answers some questions for you guys. I love you all. I hope you have a great week. And I hope to see you guys soon.